Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ike Sky, and welcome to a very special social race. Tonight we find ourselves with a motley group of the Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 entrants so far. As you saw from that, albeit silent trailer, unfortunately we had some technical difficulties with getting the audio through to you. But the entrance list at the moment is approaching, at last check, 150 drivers. Now, Apex has a very, very good system for dealing with lots of entrants to a championship. We have a number of tiers aimed specifically at different skill sets, so we do have a skill level for you, and we will absolutely welcome you should you choose to take part in the Apex Online Racing GT3 League for Assetto Corsa Competizione Season 3. We're on already. But tonight, we are having fun with a social race to get us all warmed up for Season 3. On board, currently we are with Oneko, who is getting himself around his first flying lap. This is going to be a very difficult thing to keep track of, but I will try and keep you abreast as much as possible. So, now the timing screens have come up. So, Noble has topped the tables at the moment with a 1:33.848. Hassini is in second. Toppled, as we speak, by Chorus in the 991 GT3R. Cavillion will sit fourth at the moment in the 56 AMG Mercedes. Lucky W is in fifth. Cryptic, sixth. Wenlock, seventh. Gietvan in 8th, Prenter in 9th, 10th, Lozanov. 11th will be J Chu in a Mercedes AMG GT3. Pallies is in 12th. Tudis is in 14th now, displaced by Andrade. Random Tramp is in 15th, MKS Graphics 16th. B. Schaefer in 17th, TX3 Chloe in 18th. 19th is Smolder, 20th is Gabrielson, 21st is Shooter 80, 22nd, just popping in with the Audi R8 LMS, is Jay Haynes. 23rd at the moment is Snajdan, and 24th is Welchy 10. We have 3 drivers at the moment who are yet to set time, so these positions are going to change. Oneko, we know, is reasonably quick when it comes to these Mercedes and goes straight to 3rd place on the grid, 4/10 down on the leader of Noble. No one able to touch that time as yet. Wahee, my Twitter is a thing. I don't know who's on the Apex Online Racing Twitter account at the moment, but I love you. Thank you very much. But with the majority of the drivers out on this track at the moment, these times are going to go up and down and all over the place. And no sooner did I say it, Chorus has toppled Noble by 0.04 of a second, 0.05 technically if we're rounding up, 0.05 of a second. The gap between first and second at the moment. And then a veritable leap back to Oneko now at 0.513 of a second. Let us have a look at what other cars are roaming the field. They all seem to be... Now, I am loath to ignore that logo. Give me a second. Unfortunately, this is how we have to navigate. However, we can do it this way. The number 12 McLaren of Andretti currently sitting in 16th. The McLaren, not the best according to balance of performance, but still a very handy fiddle when you put it in the hands of the right driver. Andretti does have experience with the 570S. I think this is particularly... No, it's the 650. We are running the previous model. I was thinking that rear end was a bit different. Fantastic to see the 650S being brought out to play, though. Let's jump on board just for a second, shall we? A fantastic V6. Still twin turbo. The main thing they had to do to make this car comply with the GT3 regulations is to strip out the independent suspension arms, the sophisticated suspension system that McLaren put into the road car to make its handling so much better. Coming across the line now, does he improve? No, he does not. Looks as though he may have had... I'm probably on an outlap. So this will be your first on board of the GT3 season. And it's in a McLaren. Falling down the hill now to the very long and flat, most critically, turn 3. The car, as you can see, just trying to wash wide because most corners do have the slightest bit of banking to them that allows you to get into the apex, and it's very rare that sometimes you get corners that are flat or even adverse camber. Yellow flags out and withdrawn. There's a car stationing on the side of the road though. Hopefully that's not going to put Andretti off at all. Yellow again. Someone taking an excursion through the gravel trap. This is the beauty of a social race. There's no pressure here at the moment. People are able to test the limits of where the grip is, where their performance is, where the car is, without any pressure. And as we see, Andretti just pushing a little bit too hard in the final throws of the lap. Coming back downhill, a square right into a series of corners that have seen a lot of action over the years. In Apex alone, we've seen many overtakes from these long left-right sweeping corners. Don't think that just because it's a social race, the drivers aren't taking it very, very seriously. Andretti now down to 19th, 2 seconds off the pace. Absolutely not an issue. Come back to the external views for you. Chu is running slowly. MKS Graphics in the number 1 Aston. Currently all the way down in 19th. But a fantastic livery. Almost blending in with the grass around the track. Very almost. It's fantastic camo there, MKS. Smolder, a man who we know loves his Ferraris. And who's that behind him? There's Haynes. Haynes in the 26. Audi. Lovely chrome and matte finish on there as well. Then we go up to the sharp end of the grid. Noble has now got the lead back from Chorus. Running around in that number 991 Porsche 911. Let's see if I can find our current fastest driver in a Lamborghini, of all things. Number 123. Mike Noble it is that leads the way at the moment. When you bear in mind the level of competition, a 0.2 second gap. It's quite a sizable chunk to be able to have per lap. And you see the 1-2-3 car cutting the chicane. Tut tut tut. We won't hold it against him, will we? Little bit of a atmospheric. So we're coming down to 1 minute left, and everything is as we come down to 1 minute to go. Hassini has come from nowhere to post to 143.182, which completely shakes the order up once again. Noble now pushed down to second, Chorus in the line 911 still third, which would make, hold on, an invisible car, apparently. There we go. Hassini in the Mercedes. That makes the top three different manufacturers. Our first repeater being the 911 of Lucky W. And then we have a couple of AMGs and Aston Martin of Prenta all the way up in 7th. That's great to see the Aston Martin doing so well. Hassini will be ruining that Porsche. Yep. Not the best behaviour, mate. Not gonna lie. But that is our qualifying session over. These cars that have just made it across the line will have another lap should they choose to take it. The 26th that we're looking at of Haynes, 3 seconds off the pace at the moment. The Porsche on the inside feeling balked. Who else have we got going for another lap? 59 Aston of 77 is on a lap. And it looks like Welch 10 is on a lap as well. Good to see. Haynes, it seems, has aborted that lap for the time being. Meanwhile, 77 coming around the top of the lap. There is a car parked off to the side there. Nope. It has resigned back to the pits. 177 at the moment. Shooter 80 is 20th place. We don't have split times, unfortunately, which is, believe me, really upsetting. But if we did, it would make life significantly more fun. Whilst commentating, is he going to complete the lap? Shooter 80 is feeling good on his split time at the moment. That BMW Behemoth, along with the Bentleys and the GTRs of the world. I think that's the last of the runners to complete. Yep, all of the cars are in the... all of the cars are in the pits, other than the number 2 car. Good evening. I am not going to even try and pronounce that name, but that is a fantastic name. Welcome to the AOR stream as we wait for the session to reset and the race to begin, so I can get a dashboard up and actually show you what the final positions were on the grid. We'll take a moment of silence. Oh, I tell you what. Let me do this again. But instead of messing it up, I will apparently there is no way to not mess it up. And then, so, what you were supposed to hear before was a rather fantastic piece that Voodoo Child made for the, well, specifically for Season 3 of the AOR Championship. So, without further ado, let's try this again. And we are back. That was a very lovely piece made by our very own Voodoo Child. And very good it was. Using even the free camera to get those camera angles as well, which can be a challenge. So, welcome back. We are about to start the race, and your order away from the line will be a Hassini in the AMG GT3, car number 2 to start. Chorus will come in second place. Away from the line. Ooh, I can't remember if we did a warm-up lap or not. Noble in third, Lucky in fourth, Kvillian's fifth, Oneko in sixth, Prenter in seventh, Giepvan in eighth, ninth will be Police, 10th will be Luzanov, Wenlock in 11th, Chu in 12th, Andrade 13th. There we go, we are actually doing a warm-up lap. That's fantastic to see. Cool. Andrade in 13th, Tudis. See Hannah in 14th, 15th will be Cryptic, 16th will be Chloe, 17th will be King. Random Tramp comes along in a 488 in 18th, Welchie in 19th, Shooter 80 in 20th, MKS Graphics in 21st, Schaefer will be coming through in 22nd, 23rd will be Gabrielson, 24th will be Snajdan, and I'm not actually sure if that says no. 25th will be Smolder, 25th will be Haynes, and 27th will be 77. That's not a name. So, as they come around for their first formation lap, the reason why we're running this lap particularly is because I think this is definitely a formation lap. This is definitely not race pace, but Hassini is taking them on a very, very quick pace lap. Here's hoping that they do actually get formed up when it comes around to the second half of the lap. But not a lot of warming of tyres going on, it seems like, as the 991 weaves backwards and forwards just the slightest bit. It seems that these cars are already very much up to temperature, and it could be that the drivers are trying to keep them more cool than they are warm. As we scroll back through the grid, not a whole lot. They do seem to be starting to form up at least. This is where the grid is going to get very, very, very tight, and I am going to have to talk very, very quickly. As we run back towards the start of, there we go, a beautiful 2x2 formation from our pros who know exactly what they're doing. The 991 sitting almost in front of the Mercedes. If it weren't for that long nose, it probably would be. And so here we go. From the starter's stand, the number 2 car is holding, and has gone. And it's a clean getaway for the number 2 Mercedes. The Porsche is slow off the line, going to get mobbed by the Lamborghini potentially, and a Porsche on the outside as well. 3 wide coming into turn 1. It's an almighty stop as well, so it's only going to end badly. No, they all get through cleanly, it looks like. Couple of cars going a little bit wide, but absolutely nothing wrong with that. Fantastic to see professionalism always from our AOR drivers. Line astern. They come through. Nope, Noble has made up a place, gotten past Lucky W. Nope. That was his starting position. Sorry, I'm getting confused from the announcement I was making before. All very much behaving themselves, it looks like. That warm-up lap almost being more of a cool-down lap to get the tyres into the window that they want. That pink livery. Police, what are you doing to me? That's amazing. Also, highly editable. Not that I'm suggesting anything, but you can go back and freeze that and magic select the pink out very easily. The Porsche 991 is slowing. There's only a 162 that went up the inside. Where was that? Chorus in the 991 has had an almighty slowdown penalty, it must be. There's damage to the car. Let me have a very quick look and see if we can find that, because that... So, cuts the corner there, goes wide, oh, a bit of a moment for the 991 there. Catching a bit of the grass and overcorrecting into the wall. Hopefully there's not going to be too much damage there for Chorus there. But he does seem to be holding up the grid slightly. He is probably holding on for his pit window time, which starts at around 15 minutes here. So he's going to have to nurse that car for the next 10 minutes and try and lose as little as possible. He's fallen back to 10th at the moment, which means that our first repeat manufacturer is now Cavillion in the 56 Mercedes. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant action up and down the grid, and a mirror shine on that Ferrari. My goodness, I didn't see that in qualifying, and I wish I had now. I'd have a closer look at it. Excellent livery choice there. McLaren running around in 13th. That's what we like to see. Middle of the pack. You can work forward from there. Up to our leader, who is just about to complete the third lap, I want to say. No, first lap. So this is going to be our first lap under racing conditions, I believe. Total time is 5:37 so far, 6:06. So we're not actually getting, that's a 1.3 second gap between Hessini and Noble. Comfortable lead for the Mercedes out front. Now, drivers both in real life and on Assetto Corsa have said that the AMG is an absolute bruiser of a car, and you can basically throw it at any track and it will find some grip somewhere. It will find some performance. That mid-front engined layout that the car has given it a tremendous amount of versatility and stability among a lot of different conditions, which is why you see it so popular in the AOR field. But I saw that's the number 90, that's the 90 Cryptic car in the pits. That is not within pit window time, I don't think. So that is going to be a stop for repair, unfortunately. Noble closing in over the top of the circuit. The slightly more twisty part implies that maybe Hassini's running slightly less downforce to be able to defend his position more effectively. That Lamborghini is looking fabulous in those colours as well. The way the blue highlights the rear haunches of it just makes it look even wider. Not that it needed it. Good grief. And Lucky has been promoted to third in all of that, defending quite staunchly from Cavilion behind. Another very, very photoshoppable car, which I'm going to recommend that you don't do that. But his team is Lemon Tree, so it does make sense. Do you know what? I'm going to call that the Hubba Bubba car. And if I don't see a Hubba Bubba sponsorship on there at some point, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because that is the exact colour of Atomic Green Hubba Bubba. Ah, childhood. Anyway. So, we have a 3-car train at the moment, led by a Porsche, with 2 Mercedes very firmly in tow. No silly DRS wings or anything like that going on here. This is pure performance balanced against each other, so the drivers have an ability to shine. A second covering these 3 cars, and then a bit of a gap back to Getvan, but he's again holding his own in the 563 Lamborghini. As soon as I put my camera on him, there is a slip up from the actually, where is he from? Doesn't say. There is a bit of a slip up from the Lamborghini driver, just trying to get greedy, feeling the pressure from the Aston Martin behind. I'm sure Prenta is very eager to make use of the slipstream coming off of the rear end of that Lamborghini and make the pass into one of the slower corners at the slightest look from the Aston. Running a tighter line as well. He has the pace, he has the grip, but he can't make progress because there's a dirty great big Lambo in the way. And how many times have we said that before? The answer is not many. Lambos are normally quite well balanced. But all of these drivers absolutely fantastically close. I kind of don't know where to look. We can go back to the pink pig. The German pig. Nope, that doesn't work either. The 3-pointed pink pig. There we go. Down into the chicane now. And still holding firm against the onslaught behind his pallies. So in front we have a Porsche being hounded by 2 Mercedes, and here we have Mercedes being hounded by 2 Porsches. Oh, and in the background it looks like the number 12 car being punted off. Let's get a replay of that. Either that or they were very, very, very eager on the throttle there. So we're coming up to the point of impact, and is it going to be... Is it going to be a misshift? Is it going to be Oh, he'd lost it well into the corner, and it's just going to be the car not proceeding as the driver behind thought, who was the 38 car there. Nothing against King, absolutely nothing he could have done there. He was expecting the McLaren to move, and it didn't. Unstoppable force, immovable object, and the immovable object lost. And it looks like as well. Hang on, where's that? We are missing and Porsche. We are missing and Porsche. It is Chorus that we are missing. Come on, where the... And that is because he has dropped into the pits to get his damage repaired. Give me a second, I will find that car. He is now out. And unfortunately, he has not. So, a little bit of behind the curtain to try and negate a problem that Assetto Corsa currently has with pit windows. We have set driver stint times of 30 minutes, which means that a pit stop has to be made. Nothing. Essentially, it's a mandatory stop and go. Nothing needs to be changed, but it's also a very good opportunity to get any damage or tyres that are wearing out or fuel loads or anything like that that needs to be fixed. Get it fixed. That was 77. Currently stopped by the side of the track. Brakes on and off. Ah, that's going to be a retirement for the 77. That's unfortunate. Chloe driving a BMW? There's a first. But now Chorus, right at the back of the grid, is going to now push with all that he can with a fresh car, with correct geometry, shall we say, to catch up to the rest of the field and make up that deficit. He certainly has the pace to be able to, but he is a lap down, and that is going to give him such a hard time. But if anyone can do it, Chorus can. And that Porsche, in its green version of the Porsche Le Mans livery, will find a way to the front. Cryptic, it seems, has retired as well, which is absolutely unfortunate. Still very, very tight at the head of the field. Only 1.5 seconds separating Noble and Hassini. And again, that's probably because the AMG driver knew what he was up against. He knew he was going to be defending and has set his car up accordingly to get the most speed out of all of those straights, because you can't overtake in a corner. Normally, the fastest route through has a car in it already, so all you need to do is to be able to defend on the straights. Looking further down the grid, there is still a bit of a train, but a different train now. Given with the Ferrari of Lozanov and Prenta looking to have lost a place by the looks of it. Lozanov trying to push up the field. Currently getting stuck behind the 563. Meanwhile, we have now 4 cars. That is Tudis joining the party, and the train behind Pallies in the pink Mercedes. Let's have a look at this 3-car battle. Because what we're likely to find is that when it comes on to the start-finish straight, that Ferrari is going to make a dive of it. or it's going to drop back, and the 563 is going to get a lick of pace just to defend it across the start-finish line. Ferrari going very wide, not really what you want to be doing. Taking a longer path means that you can't get the throttle down properly. And the 563 remains safe for the time being. And what else do we have going on? MKS Graphics putting pressure on the 44 Ferrari of Random Tramp. Let us have a very brief look at this, because there is an Audi in close proximity as well. Were these two to come together, there would absolutely be a... Is that an Audi? That's not an Audi. That's another Aston. Good grief. I'm going... No, that... Aha. That is the Audi of... Actually, which Audi is that? That's the Audi of Cryptic. There we go, splitting up this battle at the moment. That was what was throwing me off. So it was an Audi. But Schaefer is running slightly behind. Now Gitvin. Feeling pressure from a lot of loud engines breathing down his neck. The car number 11, Smolder, has received a drive-through for... Oh, here we go. This is where it gets interesting. So this is... I will show you this because at least once, just so that we get the idea. So this is a mandatory pit stop, which is policed by driver time. The drivers have a 30-minute drive time, during which time they need to stop and is literally stop, pit, and they don't need to do anything to the car if they don't have to. And then they can move away. And we're going to have some very close action from the pits. Gitvin with... Actually, who is that? That is Lozanov. So MKS has been leapfrogged. There we go. MKS Graphics in the #1 car has been leapfrogging the pit stops, and this is where all of that came to a head. And I'm really glad that it became obvious in front of us, because the pit stops aren't entirely necessary, but they add a very significant flavour to the way these races will go. They are essentially a Joker lap of sorts, with the nuance that if you haven't got your pit strategy set up right, then you're going to be refilling the car and putting on new tyres for an extra 20 seconds, which you don't need. And when you bear in mind that the biggest gap here at the moment is Please in the 87, it looks like, which was a 14-second gap, that's most likely pit stop. That is most likely the pit stop that has caused that. So Police is the first of our runners, a 20-second deficit on top of a 14-second penalty. 563 is in the wall. How do I get to that very quickly? There we go, the 563. Taken damage. The driver wiggles around slightly just to see if he's still in one piece. He will have readouts in the car if he's got any suspension damage, so he will know. But there's a difference between having damage and that damage actually being a problem. He is skipping the pits for the time being. He's had a right and a left to figure it out and see if he's got any major problems. So we will have a look at that then. Oh, that looks... I'm really sorry. Still in shape here. It might be that the Lamborghini just ran out of grip. I don't think he was assisted in any way. Yep. Marbles catching the... Oh, he didn't touch the wall. That's very lucky. And not much traffic at all as well. So, not much time left lost for the 563. A harmless spin. Could have been significantly worse though if he had have just kept on the throttle a little bit longer. If he had have held the brakes in the wrong place, that could very well have been a trip to the wall. One cone out, potentially. With being the leader of the pit stops. And we are now halfway through the race. And it looks like the number 11 car has taken his pit stop. Got to find him on the track now. Give him a bit of attention. Yeah, looks like it. For the Kessel Racing Ferrari. Everything will have cooled down slightly, so he's going to have to play a little bit careful regardless. But Haynes, qualifying at the back of the grid, is currently up to 12th. That will obviously change with pit stops, but he's currently in 12th on merit. The question is, when are our leaders going to pit? We see Kavilian dropping in. Taking his pit stop nice and early. There's every possibility that he has seen a window where there is not a lot of traffic. We'll pay attention to this because this now is where we have proper questions answered. Sitting on pin liberty, you can hear the revs just dying to go beyond its limit. He's going to stop. Don't think there's going to be any changes here. Nope, drops straight back out. And we'll pull away lovely and smooth. Tiny bit of a burnout. Not enough to get the smoke going though, which is just what you want. And that's going to drop him down now that he's completed that pit stop to behind the 25 car. If that's in sequence. It doesn't look like it at the moment. Well, there's 26 car. If there's 26 car, that will be 11th. Oh, there's the 92 car. There we go. 92 car. So, Kavilian dropping behind 92. There we go. He is now the leader. So, perhaps not the kind of stop that Kavilian was wanted there. He probably wanted to be just in front of that Porsche because there is a vast chasm where he could have slipped that car in and made quite a bit of progress on the cars in front. Especially Lucky W in the Porsche 162. All of these mind games you have to continuously have in the back of your mind because that's what the drivers are doing. They will have practiced these pit stops. They will have had delta times in their head and they will have been looking forwards and backwards around the track. Where's a good gap for me to fall into? As the 92 sits wide, this isn't Snajdan's fight. And in doing so, drops into the pits. So Snajdan taking his one stop now. So Noble now from second place is going to drop down only as far as third. For the 1-2-3 car. As far as I can see anyway. no, fourth. There we go. Fourth behind the number 70 Aston. That sounds right. That sounds very right. So now, if we were to have a look at the gap from Hesini to Noble, we want the total time to come through when we get the splits. That'll be Hesini at the start-finish line now. Schaefer and Noble looks like 3 seconds behind. That can't be right. And the other two drivers are in the pits. Ah, no, this isn't a practice race. This is a social race. Also, we've got 150 drivers-ish signed up. Wouldn't it be cooler if we had more drivers for the league when it begins proper? Schaefer looking to be the penultimate one to pit after Smolder, who has still not pitted. Number 11 car running round in 24th at the moment. Schaefer has cleared his one pit stop he needs to make and is out now in an enormous patch of air. That'll be good for him. Get the tyres back dialed in. And it also gives him something to chase in the Porsche of Wenlock, I think. Random Tramp in the 44 is next. There we go. There we go. That's it. So order has been resumed. Schaefer in the number 70 can just about see the 44 around the corner. So he will have his markers at the barriers. And know exactly how much progress he's making, or not, as the case may be. Now, critically, and very interestingly, Hesini has opened out a 5-second gap to the Lamborghini of Noble in second. All the way through. Jenkins, you missed the... What? What did you miss? What are we looking at? King currently looks to have a bit of a train. A bit of a train? That's an understatement. So we were talking about Loznov and Random Tramp in... Yep. We were talking about Random Tramp at the back being chased down, and it looks like he is actually chasing down a American rail car of a train, backing up behind King in the 38. That pink Mercedes. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, it's just a social race. It's like a warm up. It's kind of practice, but not practice. Pink Porsche has been getting all kind of sideways in the draft, and the Porsche 38 that we're looking at is getting all out of shape, not in draft, and is going to open the door potentially for the Ferrari to make a place. That's Loznov on 2Ds. Not to be for the moment, but we've got to keep an eye on this 777 Aston. Going very wide. The Ferrari edges closer. Trying to stay off those high curbs on the outside. Trying not to unsettle the car as you apply full throttle. Mercedes now falling back into the grasp of Random Tramp. This could be Car 62 has been pinged for track limits. One too many times, Welchie. Now, how does the Ferrari compare with... Give me a rear wing. There we go. The answer is the Mercedes has the legs on the Ferrari. Does it have the brakes? No, it doesn't. The Mercedes is going to go wide and Random Tramp is going to go, thank you very much, see you later. But the Mercedes, not giving up yet, is going to try and make it back through and is going to make it through. Random Tramp definitely giving the Mercedes space, knowing that the next corner is going to be a right-hander. Going to push him off, slightly off the track. Not obviously actually push him off the track. Fantastic driving and battling from these two drivers. Ferrari's going to look up the inside, coming up on this long right-hander, but no, that's not going to be it yet. There's going to be no passage through the chicane. However, that is the 777 Aston. What has happened to the Aston Martin there? He was doing fine, and then he wasn't. The Ferrari's looking around the outside. Oh, was that a touch? Now, was that... That would have been the slightest of touches. I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to... We're just going to slow down there and have a very, very quick look. If we were to go to the 37 and jump on the... Nose, perhaps? Nose is probably a decent shout. We'll go at we'll go at 0.25 speed. So the 777 has pushed the car off the track, which is fair. I think there may have just... That is the tiniest of touches that's unsettled the Aston. Perhaps he should have given best to the position for the time being, but that has put the 777 car into the pits. End of the race, it looks like, for Tudis, which is upsetting, of course. Deaking now out all on his own. And that former 5-car train that was been reduced to 2. No, that AMG is not hard to spot at all. I did actually say earlier that it was also a matte colour, so it's nice and flat, so you could potentially take a screenshot and put it into an image editor and put various other graphics on in its place and see how it looks. Round the second sector we come. Police still fighting off the attentions of Random Tramp. How well he can do that, however. We know the Mercedes is very quick in a straight line. So again, all he needs to do is keep it all together, and the Mercedes, with the engine layout, has got everything that it needs. Meanwhile, further back, Shooter 80 and Getvan are having a bit of a brawl. Just going to see if the Ferrari makes a jump for it. But yet again, even on the grass, the Mercedes has got the legs on the Ferrari. Does it have the brakes this time? It seems to have made it to the apex, which is what we like to see. And that poor Ferrari. Oh, I totally agree. No, I totally agree. Let us have a very quick look further down as Schaefer in that gloriously coloured Aston. Glorious sounding Aston as well. I'll tell you what, let's just jump on board with the back of it. What a noise! I'll tell you what, let's turn the volume up a bit on that. Because the game is at such low volume at the moment. That Porsche is paying very, very close interest to the back of that Aston Martin, and a massive drift. The tyre is getting perhaps slightly too warm for the 991 of Chorus, whose progress we haven't actually been tracking all that much, but he's got himself all the way back up to 12th from last on the track. That is an absolutely epic bit of work. But bearing in mind that this is the 3rd fastest driver, I want to say, god damn it. Yes, absolutely fantastic skill and talent once again to drag himself halfway through the grid at least in a balanced performance field. That can't be overstated. Also, I really should not be sitting on that camera angle out the back of the Aston, but it sounds so good. Oh, why can't all cars sound like that? Maybe that would reverse climate change. If all cars sounded like that, the Porsche going wide, getting all up in the wing mirrors of the number 70 car. There's nothing doing through the chicane. Never going to happen. And a slightly more elongated chicane. There's only going to be one line through here. There's not that many passing places on Hungaroring. We've seen a few cases where people have pressed the issue. We've seen some examples as well of some fantastically gentlemanly driving, from both attacker and defender. Again, the AOR boys, absolutely beautiful driving up and down the grid as always. We really are lucky with the crowd of drivers that we are fortunate to have here at AOR. In that they're all very patient. They're all very caring as well. As 991 drops into the pits. What on earth could this be for Chorus? What are you doing? Cryptic, the number 90 is in the pits as well. Where's the 21? Oh, he seems to have vanished. Damn it. Alright, fine. So, Schaefer being put under the most amount of pressure has somehow very luckily been able to withstand it and come out, well, with a 1.6 second gap back to an Aston behind. That's a pretty comfortable place as far as I'm concerned. Up towards the front of the grid, we still have a slightly closing back gap from Noble to Hassini. That is probably track position, just lending space forwards and backwards between the cars. Gavillion now up to 3rd, above Lucky W, so what we were talking about before seems to have played out. That 56 car has leapfrogged the 162, being able to get the lap times in and make the difference. It's all tactics. You can't just drive anymore. Number 70 with a drive-through for track limits, that is Schaefer. So having had the pressure taken off him, he's going to throw it all away. Runs wide at the top of the hill. If I were him, I would be diving into the pits. Yes, good boy. Get it out of the way. There's 4 minutes left to go. There's no point in trying to waylay that. However, that's going to drop him back into the grasp of Chorus again, maybe. And now the battle was between two. Chloe in the M8, I want to say. M6, there we go. Now they all look the same. M6 GT3 versus the Aston Martin Vantage. Car 70 has left the pit, so we'll wait to see where Schaefer exits. On track, it looks like he's behind the 399. 399 Ferrari. He is behind, so that is going to be catastrophic for Schaefer. Running around previously in 11th. Yeah, there we go. MKS Graphics looks to just about have the legs on Chloe at the moment. But that's not to say that that position's safe. Chloe has proved herself a fantastic and exceptional driver in the AOR field. And that M6 is by no means anything to be scoffed at. An absolute weapon and almost fear-inspiring, even in... what colour is that? Chloe, what colour is that? I don't know. I give up. Meanwhile, further down the grid, there is a battle going on over 15th. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. This is your battle for the end of the race. Good grief. And poor Hassini up in the lead of the race has had absolutely zero screen time because it's just been so stagnant at the front. People just running their pace. There's going to be a look up the inside from the Ferrari as Loznov, who can't quite get his nose up the inside of the number 12 car. A Lamborghini is making hay while the sun seems to shine for it. And the 12 car is going to have a lot of company soon from an Italian and a British car. As the number 70 still running wide, hasn't learned from his drive-through. What is going on here? Oh, they're all so close. I don't know about you, but this sends my anxiety through the roof. A series of S's, cars meters from each other. Well, not even meters at this point, is it really? 399 on the 12. Now looking to the inside, is it going to happen under braking? I don't think it is. That's not enough of a stop down into the third to last corner. Still looking up the inside, still getting all up in his mirrors is Loznov on Andretti. Let's do our traditional who has the legs on who. So even with slipstream, the McLaren pulling away slightly from the Ferrari. And the Aston now starting to think about a move on the 399 car as well. Now how much of this is the 12 pushing the 399 back into the 70 car, and how much of this is just the Aston being a veritable weapon and being stuck in the slipstream of the other two cars remains to be seen. But we do have a winner, and I'm going to get my keybinds right in a minute. Across the line we have Hassini. When I can actually get to him on the track, he seems to have left. Oh no, there we go. So Noble made it down to the first corner in second. Kavilian will come home in third. Lucky in fourth. Fantastic strategic work from Kavilian there, and a well won podium. Prenter will come home in fifth. Wenlock in sixth. Seventh will be Oneko. A fantastic result for him. Coming down the grid now. Drive through for ignoring stint time for the 24 car. That is Chloe mistiming her pit stop. Police will come home in 9th. Random Tramp 10th. MKS Graphics in 11th. Chloe will take an 80-second penalty for that misdemeanor. Shooter 80 being promoted to 12th as the finish line has cars running over it. There we go. Gevan 13th, Andretti 14th, 15th Loznov, 16th Schaefer, 17th Chorus, our third place driver. Haynes in 18th, Chloe still waiting. Still waiting for Welchie. There's an 80-second penalty coming. Is this going to put her... It is going to push her back. Welchie takes 19th. 20th from 13th will be Chloe. Snajdan in 21st. Looks to have retired in the latter laps of the race. Cryptic will come home in 22nd. And Smolder in 23rd. Does he? Yeah, they have all come across the line. Yeah, they have. Yeah, fantastic. That number 11 car still looking quite lovely, if I'm brutally honest. As we get one last look at our cars, we turn our attention to the top three. The number 2 Mercedes, the number 3 Mercedes, and the number 1, 2, 3 Lamborghini, when I can finally get to it through the order, parked on the apex on the runoff at turn 1. So brilliant showing as always from the AOR boys. Congratulations to our winners. Obviously, this isn't a league race. This isn't anything massive, but it is absolutely for pride points, and it's to get people in practice for the league that is coming in only a few weeks. So, just in case you haven't already looked at the forums, and then just in case you haven't already signed up, make sure you head over to the Apex Online Racing forums. Link should be in the description. If the forums isn't, the Apex Online website is. Click on that, go through, get yourself signed up, look for the Assetto Corsa subsection, and then Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 leagues is the place you want to go. Season 3 is where you sign up, get yourself a time trial registered, and you will be put into a tier with drivers able to match your pace. Just waiting to see if anyone wants to come and talk to me, as I always do. It almost seems rude not to. Apparently I'm coming through someone's speakers. Awesome. Ha ha ha. I'm watching you. Lol. Anyway. Right. So. I don't think anyone wants to come and talk to me. I'm really quite offended. That was a really interesting race. I really enjoyed that. If this gives any indication of how the rest of the competition is going to go, it's only good things that I'm seeing here, I've got to be honest. The infractions were accidental. The infractions were accidental and minor. The racing was gentlemanly and close. So close from start to finish. I think the pit stops is probably the thing that has that changed the race the most, which is the reason why it's there. Is to add a bit of excitement and strategy. We had winners, we had losers. There we go. The 1, 2, 3 car finally getting himself moving. So, with that, I don't think anyone's going to come and talk to me. That's absolutely fine. There we go. Right. That's not a problem. I will run through the trailer one more time for all of you who may have missed it earlier in the stream. A trailer made by our very own Voodoo Child, who does excellent work on and off the grid. Have spoken to him quite a few times about a great many things. And I'll leave you with that. But in the meantime, if you have enjoyed what we are doing here at Apex Online Racing, by all means feel free to leave a like. If you really like the sound of my voice and my opinions and the way I say all the time, then you're in luck, because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of casting over the next little while. We've got quite a few championships coming up, both in Assetto Corsa and Project Cars 2. And yes, there's a lot of stuff going on. You will have to wait and see for those things to come to fruition, but believe me, you are not going to be disappointed. So, yes, if you like what we're doing here at Apex Online Racing, like the video, go and get signed up over the forums and get involved with what we're doing. If you do want to support in any other way, feel free to hit the subscribe or join button. And in the meantime, my name has been Eike Sky, and I will see you very, very soon. I hope you have a lovely, lovely evening.